All right. Well, welcome to the last stream of orientation weekend. This is day 4. I feel like it's been a while. So, we put this orientation together last minute just because we realized that a lot of students didn't know how to use Fiveable. A lot of them were just jumping into courses blind, right? But also, there's also the current students um, who also haven't caught up with the new changes, all the new changes that we're making, or just like haven't seen the current website in its current status. So we just figured a complete tutorial basically for every type of student would be helpful. So that's kind of why we did it this weekend. It was right before courses too, so the timing was pretty awesome. It is Labor Day weekend, so thank you for being here. I know you guys could be with your families and all that stuff. So again, we're in a pandemic, so I don't even think holidays or time matters anymore. Um, I've been working all day too on Labor Day. Let's see. So just to recap, on day 1, we met the Fiveable team. We showed people told people about all the different resources that we offer. We talked about what our company values and the type of people that we value and or the values that we care about and all that stuff. Day 2, community, talked about what community is and how it'll look on our platform. Day 3 was all about courses, and day 4, this morning we did a recap for international students, and then now we're here. I'm doing a full weekend recap and a Q&A session. So this is our kind of we put together a checklist, right, for just taking an AP in general, whether it's with us. The bottom 3 are kind of like with us, but these are kind of like the things that you should do if you're just taking AP in general. I hope you've talked to your AP coordinator and have registered for your exams already. That way you can get access to the College Board portal once you talk to your coordinator, get set up that way. We don't provide College Board login codes or any of that stuff, so you'll have to talk to either the College Board or your AP coordinator in your district. And then looking over the CED. I mean, I know not many of you guys will read the CED in full, except our Fiveable students who put together like the study guides. But it is like hundreds of pages of like stuff you don't really need to read through. So we condensed all that for you when we're building those into the pacing guides that we'll be distributing to everyone this fall. Whether you're in a course or not, everybody will get a pacing guide. Let's see. So I want to invite the students to just come in and kind of give your input. As you give your input, feel free to introduce yourselves. So people know who you are and why they should care about what you're saying. So, and don't be shy. But yeah, this is we'll start with the checklist section. Do any of you guys have anything to add to this area? Any points that you want to stress that they should be taken care of?
Okay. I'll go. I'm Madeline McNulty. I'm from Texas. I'm going to be a junior this year. And I'm taking APUSH, AP Psych, AP Lang, and AP Statistics this year. And the only thing that I really have to stress, and I guess maybe we'll touch on this a little bit later on, is just to kind of be aware of the commitment that goes into, to try and be aware of the commitment that goes into AP courses. This is an AP course. A lot of people try and slack off in this class, and that is not going to make you pass this test. You have to put in your effort, do your own work, don't cheat. Just be aware of that going into this year.
Also, as far as we know at the current moment, the test will be a fully fledged exam. So this means the earlier you study, the better. Like if you're waiting until spring, or if you plan on waiting until the spring, it's already too late for you. So revisit your plan on studying and kind of, start at the beginning of the year so you don't add that pressure onto yourself later, right? Because we're still in a pandemic and there's a lot of other stressful things that you'll have to deal with that aren't studying. So make it easy on yourself and, just tune in every week if you're in a course, just tune in every week. Make sure you're paying attention in your in-person classrooms if you're not taking a course with us. Just stay ahead of the game, and we will do everything in our power to get you guys and girls all 5s as much as possible anyway. just keep going backwards. um, Tips for self-studying. Itunu, Megna, and Madeline, you guys kind of put this together. So I'd love for you guys to kind of like talk about some of these points. You guys can divvy it up however you want, but maybe somebody takes 2 points at a time and just goes through this list.
I can go first with this. So I'm in TUNU. I live in New York, and I'm an incoming sophomore. I'm taking AP Chem and AP World History this year. So like the first one, it states that research and plan out the content that needs to be learned. And I think on the slide before that, they said like look out over the CED. When you look over the CED, it basically shows like the basis for everything. So with like the CED, you are able to like see what you need to know if you need to like figure out other stuff. And you have like kind of like an in look, since like your teacher is not going to start from like any random place. They're usually going to go in order. So you can go ahead if you want to. So that's what I have to say.
And then create a timeline to learn the material. Anybody want to expand on that?
Sure, I'll go ahead. So basically, so you want to create a timeline to learn the material, especially if you're self-studying or if you're taking the Fiveable course, they're going to help you out a lot with pacing yourself. But just kind of be aware, like, do like this topic on this unit, and especially if you're taking the course in person, they'll do a lot with this more, and it'll be a lot more structured. But create study plans and really just keep on yourself when you're going through that.
Along with that, I think it's pretty helpful to find valuable resources. Like Fiveable is one of many resources that you can look towards if you need help. And we have study guides, and the College Board also has videos as well that can help you out when you're studying by yourself, and it'll help you out when you're learning the content. And don't forget to register for the AP exam, as that's pretty important. So you can actually take it in May. And I think the deadline for AP coordinators is around mid-November, so definitely try to register way before that so that you're insured to take an exam.
Also, with it says like assess yourself as you would in a typical classroom. Most of us, like I know me, I'm doing virtual this year for like the first semester of school. You're going to be like really tempted to like cheat or like look stuff up online since we have like a computer with you. Try to like not do that. Try to act like you're in a normal school setting, since like you're still in school, you don't want to get in trouble, you don't want to plagiarize. And also by searching stuff up, you're not really learning. You're not like, because even though like you have to prepare for the test, like one of your big goals is to learn during this course, because this is like most likely if you chose this course, it's like a course that you want to do because it will help you in the future. So yeah.
I'm going to add on to that as well. Just especially if you're online and you're at home, be aware that there are distractions around you and try and eliminate those. Like turn your phone on do not disturb, turn it on airplane mode. And I think we're going to touch on this as well. Create your own workspace. All of that is going to really, really help you feel like you're in a normal classroom setting and hold yourself to that standard. Because I know that being at home can help make things a little bit easier to get distracted or lay down or something, or take a longer break or something like that. And then for the next one, it's saying to take down good notes or to refer back to when you review for the exam. And this is like, I'm a note-taking person. This is just my way of taking notes. I like pen and paper. I like writing them down and really getting the pens, and I have all these highlighters and all that. And of course, this method is going to change depending on the person. You can take notes by typing them on the computer. There's a lot of different ways to take notes. You can use a Notion doc. You can write on pen and paper, use the Cornell method. But just making sure that you're actively taking really good notes during a lecture or anything like that is really going to help that material stick and all that.
I also want to add on with like the notes. Try, even though like you want them to be like aesthetically pleasing, these like make them like you're able to like obtain the knowledge from it too. Because like I know for a fact, like I tried to like do some like really crazy stuff, but I wasn't able to like learn from it or like read it because of how it was.
So
I
be
think
creative, but don't go crazy is basically what you're saying.
I think Madeline already elaborated on the importance of creating a good study environment so you don't get distracted. So I'm going to move on to the importance of working with someone else and self-studying together. If you're doing it by yourself, that's all right. But looking towards another person, whether that's a friend or a classmate who's also taking the same subject, can be really helpful because you're going to have more motivation when studying together. And that's really great for you because that'll eventually help you do better on the AP exam. And ask for help whenever you need it. There's so many helplines available to you, such as Fiveable, and there are also helplines available at home with your family and friends. And they're there for you. They're there to help you whenever you need anything. So just ask them to help you stick to a schedule because it can be difficult. It can be challenging. So having them help you stick to that will only help you keep yourself on track and helping you succeed in the AP course.
Awesome. Yeah, Madeline and Samantha, I know you guys talked about, or in our internal discussions, brought up the Pomodoro technique. Would you guys want to elaborate on that a little bit? Samantha
Yeah.
first, Samantha
Oh,
first, and Madeline.
okay. Go, or whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, so the Pomodoro method is really, really helpful. The idea is that you study or do whatever productive for 25 minutes and then you take a 5-minute break. And then you repeat that a few times. Maybe you do it where you do 50 minutes and then a 10-minute break. And then after you do it for, say, 2-3 hours, you take a longer break and, you go for a walk or you eat or you take care of yourself so that you're not sitting at a desk for a super long time. But the idea is that, our attention spans really aren't that long. So when you try to sit down and just be productive for 2 hours, it doesn't work. So by breaking it up, it actually helps you stay more focused and be more clear when you're working. And I found it to be super helpful. If you use an app like Forest, you can set a timer on your phone so you can't even look at it. And it works super well with the Pomodoro method. So 10 out of 10, highly recommend. I use it all the time.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree. I use this method a lot. And just remember that it doesn't have to be just 25, like a 25-minute time block and then a 5-minute break. You can always adjust that to your schedule. If you need to go like a half an hour and take a 10-minute break, that's always up to you. And then she said like the Forest app really helps. You can use like a good old timer. And I think there are specific Pomodoro, or however you say it, apps where you can just set a specific timer.
I always kill my trees on those apps.
Oh,
I'm not good at being not distracted.
Colin, if it makes you feel better, there is a setting where you can use your phone and it doesn't kill the tree. So you can do that if you want them to live.
It's like
you know how many trees I've killed?
Anything else? Any other tips that you guys might have for self-studying? There's a lot of homeschooling people that might be watching this. There's a lot of self-studiers that are taking the course, but their school might not even offer it.
I also recommend, if you're using a computer, to if you use Google Chrome, I don't know if it's for Safari too, there's Chrome extensions, and you can download Chrome extensions and you can put in certain distracting websites in that Chrome and it will block you for a certain amount of time. So if you're studying or anything, you can do that. And if you try to go into the website, they either show a password that you have to do it, or you have to play a game. So it's if you have to go to that site, you have to do something to work for it to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that I do have to say, is just keep a really good mindset when you're at home. It is really hard to keep a positive mindset, and being out of classroom can really affect that. But just remember that what you put into your education is what you're going to get out of it. So, you don't have to, read and study for 6 hours at a time, but just dedicating that time to yourself is going to be very, very helpful. And it's going to pay off in the end, especially when you take your AP test.
Yeah, and adding on to the point where it says to make sure to assess yourself, I believe that the College Board does provide students with free FRQs, I believe, and they have the scoring rubrics and the guidelines to score your own FRQs. And I always think that's a very good option for self-studiers to use when preparing for the test in May. Yeah.
And one last thing, when you're creating a timeline to learn the content, especially when you're self-studying, it's good to leave like a month or so at the end, because there are things that happen and you may get back and off track. So it's important to leave a bit of extra time to catch up at the end. That's a little bit more specific, but yeah.
For sure. Just real quick in the chat, tell us about one issue that you have while studying. If it's by yourself, like, is it getting distracted? Is it just being bored? What kind of blocks? What's your blocker when it comes to studying that you've noticed over time? Boredom, siblings. I feel that when there's too much going on in the background. Hey, Samad, I just asked what, just tell us, I just asked everybody to tell us about an issue that they have while studying. So, what kind of blocks you when you're trying to study, when you're trying to focus on your work? Benjamin's the best. Props to you, Benjamin. You better get a 5 then. Getting overwhelmed. Yeah. Well, once you spend some time with the students of the Fiveable community, they'll share tons of resources and tips and tricks and all those things to kind of help guide your studying. All the people up here they really know what they're talking about. So, reach out to them if you need help. They're here for you. So, don't be shy. It's basically what it comes down to. Is don't be shy in the Fiveable community. I know it's like a bunch of students that you don't even know, but we're kind of like breaking down walls between schools and districts and all that all around the world, right? So it's pretty much like one virtual high school, basically, except without all the rules and fluff and filler and all that stuff.
And I do have to say also I can almost guarantee you that like 99%, 99.9% of all the people in the Fiveable community, they just want to help you. Like there is no judgment, nothing, none of that. None of any of that toxicity that we associate with high school, none of that is in the Fiveable community. And I know the Fiveable team has gone to great lengths to guarantee that. So don't be afraid to speak up or ask a question or anything. I can guarantee you 10 people are going to positively respond and try and help you in the best way that they can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to add on to that a little bit about our community, things might not always be good, like great, sometimes things will happen and then we kind of have to work through it together. That's like what being part of a community is. Like, we celebrate wins together and we also like take some hits or take some L's together, right? So that's kind of what a community is. Like, don't be afraid or don't be ashamed. Like, don't ever like preface your question with, hey, sorry to be a bother or like sorry to be annoying. Those are kind of things that we strive. We tend to move away from. There's no really stupid questions. You just have to ask, and we'll either have an answer or we'll point you in the right direction. That's what it will basically come down to. So do we want to just talk about the FAQs that we've gotten all over the weekend, Allie? You want to start off with some of these?
Sure. Just start talking about them.
Wait, should I talk about Fiveable courses first, and then we can start diving into these a bit?
Yeah, I think that would be better.
Okay. So just to take a step back and talk about Fiveable courses for a bit. I know most of you here are here for courses. Also, if you have just a general note about questions, please use the Q&A section, and somebody on the panel will take care of it, or we'll answer it live on screen. So as you guys know, there's about 9 courses that were greenlit. Greenlit means the course reached its quota to be able to run fully for the semester. When we first launched courses back in August, we developed all the courses in just a couple of weeks, which was crazy, right? And we did it with the help of founding members. And let me see if I have I got a bunch of slides here. Um, so when we first developed the courses, we had to think about this in a way that we could scale up, right? There's hundreds and thousands of kids that are looking for new AP resources, and we want to make sure that the courses we were building would be able to include all of them, which means the more you scale up, or to keep the prices low, like if we have it, about 10 times lower or 50 times lower than some competitors, we have to hit a quota, right, without losing money. Otherwise, we'd be hemorrhaging money. And we don't want to do that because we want to use that money to make resources for you guys. So that's the reasoning behind the green lighting and non-green lighting the course. In the fall, we only did that to like kind of gauge interest, right? In the spring, we'll be running all the courses. And all of you should have received an email about whether your course was greenlit or not, and then you were given 3 different options to move forward. I'll just reiterate those options here just so everybody knows. Option 1 was to transfer to the spring version of the same course. Path 2 was to transfer to a new subject, and 3 was to get a complete refund. So we honored all 3 of those options, and we'll continue to do that until the spring semester. If you want to push your course to the spring, and you decide, when you get to January, you decide you don't want it, we'll still honor your refund. So don't feel stressed or nervous that you'll be locked into it. Just help us make a decision now, and then that'll give us some direction to move forward in terms of your courses. The courses start tomorrow. So I'm going to come back to you after I go through just the basic course stuff. It just makes sense. But yeah, the course starts tomorrow. The courses start tomorrow. As you can see, here's kind of the screen, or sorry, the calendar. Today's Labor Day, obviously, but this week will be different from next week, right? Just to make that clear. Here's all the subjects. AP Calc will be a hybrid. So, a lot of the topics covered in AP Calc AB are also covered in BC, and vice versa. So we'll do the BC content at the end. And then on Fridays, we'll do a special Fiveable Fridays kind of thing. I'll let Matt talk about this for a little bit since he kind of helped make it a thing.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt. I'm a rising senior from New York, and I came up with the idea of Fiveable Friday just so we could celebrate Fiveable and be proud of who we are as a community, and just kind of celebrate what we do here. So every Friday, as a team, we all wear our merch, and we just get each other pumped up about being here at Fiveable. So we want to introduce this to the courses to make it public and make everyone feel part of our community.
Thanks, Matt. And Fiveable Friday is also similar to what we do as our main executive team. We check in every Friday, so everybody will give their progress on all the projects that they're working on. We'll celebrate all the wins of that week, like what stopped us from doing the best that we could. There's always things that come up, right? Especially in the startup world. So that's pretty much what Fiveable Fridays is. It's just like a celebration together. It's not mandatory, but it is a way for us to all connect with the community. That's not like just AP related. Like, we'll have all week to talk about AP stuff, but at the end of the week, it's like, it's the weekend, everybody just wants to chill and all that stuff. And then this is the regular schedule. So AP Lang, APUSH and Bios on Monday, Physics and Chem on Tuesday, Psych, Calc, and World on Thursday. And you guys should have a copy of this, but if you don't, just email us or message us in the chat box on our website. Let's see. So if you sign up for a course now, like APUSH, can I refund it before it starts? I would just, so for the people that had signed up for a course that's not being greenlit, those people will have their refunds honored up until the spring. But if you buy a course now, you only have 7 days to refund it, if that makes sense. Just because the people who already bought the course bought it and the course is not being run. So otherwise, the normal refund policy would apply to you. So 7 days from the date of purchase to get your refund. No questions asked. Just email us and we'll take care of it right away. To greenlight a course means we hit our quota, so that we need a minimum for each course to run, right? And so all the ones you see on the screen are all the courses that hit their minimum. And that will apply mostly for the fall. And in the spring, we'll run all the courses. So whatever you signed up for this semester, you'll be able to take next semester. Also, in the spring, there'll be tons more students signing up for courses, right? And we do have a ceiling per course, which is 500. So that number usually goes up very fast in the spring. You know? When you think about last school year, we had 1.5 million students on our website, with almost 1 million of those being in the last few months of the school year. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about courses and when to buy it and all those things. And we have discounts running right now too. So if you did want to join a course now, you can take advantage of those. The discounts later might look different, or they might not be available to that scale. But yeah, back to this FAQ. Ali, if you want to help us here.
Sure. I think Tan covered a lot of the courses stuff, and if I'm correct, Tan, registration ends for Greenlight courses tomorrow. That was correct, right?
Yeah. So in terms of that, we'll have it rolling for a little bit to see if there's anybody that had just rolled in at the tail end and they just found out what Fiveable courses are, but they won't be open the entire semester. So the earlier, within the next few days, we'll close them. Just because we've also had some people just come on today telling us that they needed a few days to arrange things. So we do want to make sure it's accessible, but everybody that had signed up for the course did it on time. So we want to make the later you come in, the more you're going to miss. So the earlier you join, the better, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, Tan. What if you haven't been added to a Slack channel? Thank you, Harrison, for already answering this in the Q&A, but I will reiterate this. You should be looking out for an email from our Director of Operations, Stephen, he is a god, are asking you to join a channel or joining some form of Slack community, and you should just be keeping out for your email. So just always be refreshing and looking for your that email. How do we create a community? So this is kind of like a two-part question in the sense that once you join the Slack channel, you can actually browse through the channels, or if you feel like, you know what, I want to create my own channel, you can. But here's the thing about a community. This is not really like individuals such as like flutes or cello or violin. It's more as like orchestra or band as a whole. So there's a difference between like a smaller community versus just the overarching idea. And so by creating a community, you just start a channel, making sure that there's no duplicates, because we don't do duplicates and a duplicate will be removed. But making sure that, you just start a channel and then, and hashtag all channels. Once you've joined the Slack community, you'll be able to advertise there. And something about a community is that please don't spam, you will get removed. And that is just like something that we don't tolerate. What kind of communities can we create? I mean, you can virtually create anything if you think about it. Just make sure it's not duplicated and it's not very, very narrow. In the sense that it's inclusive, anyone can join into it, and it's not really like built for hate, because if it's for hate, you will get removed. But also just kind of think of it like college admissions as a whole, or like a sport, or, something that's always in Tan's designs is the Harvard pre-medical group, something like that. So like kind of creating these like medical communities or these business communities, something overarching and broad. Who do we contact if we need help? So something about this community is that it's very student centric. It's very, very student based. So if it's a very small, I guess, argument or something that is a discrepancy, our recommendation is you try to figure it out on your own. However, if it's a much larger scale issue or there's multiple parties involved and it's getting nowhere, then please contact one of the admin, and you can reach out to them, either Tan, for example, or Amanda or Stephen, and Kate is also in there as well. So our first recommendation is to make sure if you can figure it out. If not, then please contact admin, because within these community, there's not just 2 people or 3, it's thousands. And when we get on the Fiveable platform, we're expecting millions. So we want to make sure that you guys are equipped and ready to solve these disputes, but we also want to make sure that's smooth and seamless as possible.
Yeah, thanks, Ali. Just to touch on the community, we're the admins are, we're adults, right? We don't want to jump in if we don't have to. So we love giving students the autonomy. I think this is what differentiates us from everyone else, is we love giving students the power to do what they want to do without jumping in or intervening too much. Obviously, if there's like really like hateful stuff going on, that's like when we jump in, right? When a discussion or argument just has no end and it just keeps going and all that stuff, that's when we'll jump in. But we don't like to do that. We like to see people talk it out and solve it on their own, because that's kind of like a growth mindset. You make mistakes, you learn from it, and you move on, and everybody grows collectively. And we don't want anybody to like feel bad. This like there's no like Fiveable jail or anything like that. Like we'll help you like rehabilitate. That's the kind of like thinking that we have behind community. So if you mess up, it's fine. Just like come to us, let us know what the issues is. We're pretty mindful and considerate of everybody's needs. So don't ever be scared in that regard. I think there's a question about streams being recorded. So all streams will be recorded and uploaded to your Thinkific course. And then I believe there'll be another stream this week to show you how to use all the course stuff and Thinkific and all that. So just real quick, is there anybody in the chat who has not been, who hasn't joined the Slack community yet or doesn't really know how to use it? Kaylee? Okay, okay. If you guys can just, if you've already signed the form, then we'll get to, if you've already signed the community agreement, we'll add you guys tonight. Let's see. So if you purchase your course today, then you might, that may be why you're not in there, but just as long as you sign the community agreement, drop the link in here. And if you just never got an invite to the community, here's the invite. Once you fill that out, I think you'll receive a community agreement. And then we'll let you in. It's a very casual environment, so it's like professional Discord, right? Is how some people would explain it. Let's see. Is it possible to have someone send the invite to another email? Yeah, if you can just email Stephen@fiveable.me. Let me type that in the chat. Thanks in advance, Stephen. So if you email Stephen, he'll help you out and he'll get to your request as soon as possible and get you in the right Slack channels, especially if you purchase courses and you're not in your subject course yet. Would you recommend self-studying an extra course on top of what's already being in APs in school? Any students want to take that?
So let me tell you about something I tried to do in my junior year. So I took 3 APs my junior year and then kind of self-studied a 4th. I ended up not taking the exam for multiple reasons, but it definitely was hard because you have this homework that you have to do, that you have to turn in for school, for grades, for GPA, and then yet you have to find the motivation to learn this content for another class just for yourself. I mean, of course, there is motivation if you are planning on taking the exam, which probably would have helped me. But I think also with Fiveable courses, it'll help because you will be more guided and you will have to turn things in. I think it definitely depends on the class, how many APs you're taking, what your course load looks like. There's a lot of different factors, but definitely like it might be rough. I'm just being honest. Like definitely think about all your factors that are going into how you're spending your time this year.
Yeah, just to add on to that, like we all know, or we all think we know that we can handle 10 AP courses at once, right? But when it comes down to it, like, is it the actual right thing to do for yourself and to yourself? So when it like think about how it'll affect you and how it'll affect your other opportunities, right? If you're well, I don't know what's happening with sports now, but if how that affects sports or your extracurriculars, will you have time to dedicate to each of those things, or will you just be really like spreading yourself thin and not doing good at any of those things? And that's not a place that you want to be, because I've definitely been there in my first year of college, to the point where I pretty much was donezo my first year of college until I had to turn myself around and I realized that I was doing too much. We can save the college talk for the end. We'll save a couple extra additional minutes for just we'll save that for the end, but we'll get through some more questions. So if you have questions, just keep dropping them in the Q&A section.
I also have to add on.
Totally.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll go. Okay. Anyways, I also have to add on is really think about your mental health. That's something that a lot of people overlook. I myself have overlooked, and really make that your relationship with yourself and how you feel with yourself, and really being in tune with your body and how you're feeling. That goes above anything else. Beyond classes, that is what's going to carry through high school and college. And just being really aware of that and not overwhelming yourself is going to be very helpful. Make this whole, APs are a lot and it's a very large process. So just being aware of that will make everything much easier.
Mm-hmm. Harrison?
Yeah, I was kind of going to say something along those lines, but also to add on to what Samantha said, while it's hard, it's definitely doable. I think that I can count out at least 3 of us on this panel who have taken an AP exam, done well, and self-studied that are on this panel right now. Especially with a Fiveable course now with this structure, it's totally doable. And even though it has a lot of structure, don't feel like you're forced into it, because everything here is always optional. Like live streams, if you miss it, no big deal. You can watch the recording, you can choose not to. Want to do the projects? You can. Don't want to do them? Don't do them. Want to read our study guides? Do it. Totally recommend it. Don't? Your choice. I mean, this is all about you. Like we said, there's no Fiveable jail. There's no we're gonna hound you and give you a failing grade in the class until you do the assignments. Like, we don't care. This is all about you. We're gonna give you all the structure that we can give you, and you just put yourself in right where you fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we care about you. It's just not about we don't care about forcing you to do stuff that you don't want to do or that you might struggle with doing at that moment in time. So wise words from Harrison, who knows everything about Fiveable and how Fiveable students work.
Can I add something real quick, Tom?
No. Yeah, go for it.
I self-studied for AP Macro this past year, and I had 0 structure. I took 0 notes, and I was really not disciplined. And so by the time the AP exam came, I literally was, I was kind of dependent on the cram finale, just to kind of teach me everything. I mean, Allison did a phenomenal job, and so did Dylan. But I think I slept through the exam twice, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyways, it's really important for you to understand that self-studying, like Samantha said, is a whole nother commitment, but it's also an accomplishment. I like to think of it as like another extracurricular activity. You're going to be spending as much time, or you should be spending as much time as you would in an extracurricular activity. With that being said, I mean, the best way to, the days that you have 0 motivation is to find ways to learn it. I learned econ not through study guides, but through news articles. I learned it through reading journal articles and different stuff about econ, which is out of the ordinary. People just try to stick to notes. And I think the best way to self-study is to switch it up. And I think with Fiveable courses, it's an easier way to switch it up because you have a community, you have a room full of students and teachers and TAs helping you along the way because they know that it's hard. But never think it's hard because you're never alone.
Also, I want to add on to don't forget to ask for help if you're self-studying or you're doing normal school. We have the community here, and we have great people if you're in the public channels or if you're in your private channel too, with the teachers and people even on this panel, they're all knowledgeable on at least one AP subject. So don't be afraid to ask for help from your teacher or from a student Slack.
Yeah, great advice, everybody. Are there any questions about Fiveable courses that we haven't answered that that you want to ask?
While y'all are still thinking on that, I did want to add on to, like Ali said, he learned econ through news articles and all the other stuff like that, and not just like reading study guides. That's awesome. And we've thought about that too. We have our Fiveable study guides, but we've also spent the summer curating resources online for different AP subjects. I'm going to take something that I'm super knowledgeable in, human geography, for example. If any of you guys have taken that or taken it, you know that it's really applicable to the real world. So we found a ton of articles from places like The Atlantic, Nat Geo, The Economist, Business Insider about how these concepts connect to real life. There was one that I was looking at yesterday about de-evolution, and it was about how different governments in some country in the Middle East are gaining more power over the federal government and are trying to overthrow them because the politics of the majority don't agree with those who are leading. So really, there's a lot of sources that you can see outside of just AP prep resources. It's not just the Princeton Review that'll get you ready for the exam. It's everything from New York Times to Fiveable to, I don't even know, and everything in between.
I know there's a bunch of new people here, so I do want to just walk you through how to use the website really quick. Oh wait, before I do that, Leah, do you know what the subject courses that you're trying to buy? You might have an error if you were trying to look for like a course that was not greenlit. Yeah. So Harrison, if you could help Leah with that. Spanish and music theory were not greenlit for the fall, so that might be why you might be having an issue. But the spring semester will be available to you. So yeah, just real quick, you know, this is our current website, right? It's pretty outdated at this point in time, but we're building a new one, a completely new one simultaneously. So this will only be here for a few more weeks before we launch our new beta platform. But as of now, you know, you can either use the big search on our homepage, so just type in like AP Human Geo Unit 1, or you can choose the subject and then type it in. You know, this will pop up some resources for you. Or you can go to resources. You can browse through your subjects. Let's do AP Bio. So AP Bio, this is like the home page for AP Bio, right? You can browse by unit. So let's say I wanted to look through Unit 1 materials. And then you can filter by all the different types of content inside of that unit. So if I just want study guides or if I just want videos, I can choose them this way. Let's see. So Caroline was our first AP Bio teacher ever. And the stream is from way back when, last year. So as you can see, like when you hit a video page, you can just watch the replay. We did make the ability to download these videos for free. You can just click this button down here, and it'll download a compressed version of the video to whatever device you're using. We added that feature in when we realized a lot of students didn't have access to internet at home, or they're finding internet elsewhere, right, in the library or restaurants or things like that. So being able to download the videos, because they are like 40 to 60 minutes in length on average, giving them the ability to kind of take the videos with them as they chose was requested. Under resources, there'll generally be a couple of resources under. So if you click this, it'll just open up the slides that were attached to that stream, and you can just click through. And then key questions. These are all the questions that you should know by watching the stream or finishing that unit. So then to return to the video, and then on the right-hand side of the video, if it's a replay, so replay is a recorded event. If it's a recorded event, there's typically timestamps over here. And you can click through to watch, it'll bring you to the moment in time. Yikes. It'll bring you to that moment in time. Sorry about that. Let's go back to Unit 1. Let's see. Gene expression. Study guides. So there are a bunch of, oh, look, Sam study guides. Sorry, I put you on blast, Sam. So in each study guide, there'll be, everything is basically broken down in very easy to understand English. Everything is verified by AP teachers. If you see an error or like anything in the content, if you hover over any of these lines of content, you'll see a flag on the left-hand side. If you click that, you can tell us what's wrong with that piece of content, right?
I know nothing's wrong with that content.
Yeah, we'll see. Everybody go to this page and find something. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you can report content or flag content to just make sure that we have the right facts, the right spelling, the right grammar, all those things. And then just to go back, trivia. So we do host trivia games too. So we have the trivia games that we have played live, and you can replay those. So as you can see, it'll walk you. You can see the leaderboard for that game, the chat. You can just keep answering these. I don't know if I got that right, but did I get it right? Dang, I got it right.
ATGC.
It's been a while. But yeah, you can play trivia here, and then you can also see what stream that trivia game is attached to. So if you wanna watch the stream first and then play the trivia to see how you'll do, or if you wanna play it before, watch the stream,
left.
and then play it again, so you can kind of test yourself. This is what we mean by like assessing yourself, right? You can play the trivia game without knowing anything about it, watching the video, reading the content, and doing it again. And seeing what you retained or what you remember or know about that content will help you find your weak points. And also, huh?
Top left.
What do you mean? Oh, you're trying to give me the answers.
You got it wrong.
Shh, they don't need to know that. I got it right, so.
Anyways, at the end of each trivia game, you'll have the trivia explanations for each question. So those are also available to you for free. Some of them might be missing some, but feel free to also flag the questions without explanations, right? Because if it's something that we missed, then it's a mistake on our part and we want to fix it. But yeah, this is kind of like the trivia area. In your account settings, you can choose your info here. Oh, there's my phone number. This is your profile handle, right? This will become your user profile. This will become your Fiveable like app. And obviously mine is just Han. They had to hard code mine because originally my name was too short. In your subjects, you can follow whatever subjects that you'd like. I know it's like a rainbow, but just go through and follow the subjects. It'll help with your notifications up here on the top right. So if you see this up here, this is your notification center, so you can see all the things that have happened. Calendar, pretty straightforward. You can see the next 7 days, next 14 days, next 30 days. Pick the subjects you want or all subjects. For example, like here's our stream now. We added this thing so you can now see how many people have registered for an event if it's over, I believe 15 or 25 people. So, and then it'll also show you if it's being hosted through Zoom or through an external event. Let's see. Hypertyper is a pretty cool game. So Hypertyper basically, it pulls a paragraph from the study guides, and you can go through and kind of answer as you go. We built this when the AP exams are online, and we noticed that a lot of students were having issues typing online anyways, on a computer anyways. So this kind of helps you study and practice your typing at the same time. Like for me, or for us back then, it was like a typing class, typing labs that would help with this, but I'm not sure if there's anything that really offers this anymore, just because everybody's like supposed to know how to type now.
I do want to say that if you do need help typing, typing.com is a really great resource to use, and they can walk you through it. There's a bunch of sites. Type Racer, you can erase and type and stuff, and it can help you kind of build your skill if you already have a good idea of how to type. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, Kiana said Nitro type too. Thanks, Kiana.
And with typing classes, I think the last time I took a typing class was like 6th or 7th grade because they require us to.
Yeah.
So, but I never like used it. So like I didn't even like pay attention.
Yeah, because you already know how to type, or?
Basically.
Yeah.
Like I try.
Yeah, I feel that. Let's see. I switched courses because my course didn't have enough applicants. When I go to my calendar, there's nothing is in there. Does that mean it hasn't been updated? So I think, so all the courses will live at courses.fiveable.me. So when you're here, you'll be able to go into your account and you'll be able to see all your courses. So you'll be able to see your courses here. What I was showing was just the course streams won't be on this calendar, since the course streams are private. They're only available to those enrolled in the courses, so they'll only be in the course section. But yeah, this won't include the courses, so don't worry if you don't see it here. It should show up when you're logged into courses.fiveable.me, and you'll be able to see it here. Let's see. Does not. From Elijah, I'm new to Fiveable, was hoping to take AP Euro, which didn't make the cut for the fall. Through online, I'm already taking AP Learning and Physics. Elijah, you can definitely, like Harrison mentioned earlier, everything in this course is optional for you, right? But the more you do, the better the chance you'll get at scoring a 5. But you're taking several other courses, so don't feel bad if you miss an assignment because something you got caught up in your other work. It's supposed to be at your own pace. If you do your work, if you miss an assignment, you can always come back later, or in the spring, you will be able to keep your materials in the spring. So if you sign up now, people who signed up in the fall for the fall courses, you'll have more time to study, and you'll be able to just review those materials next semester. You don't have to buy courses for both the fall and the spring unless you feel like you need the live support for all year long. Do we get access to the SAT sessions? So the SAT sessions, we're doing a partnership with this company called Almost Fun. It's a really awesome SAT company. So if you look them up, they offer free services, and they have an app as well. These streams will be $5 each. They're kind of like a mini course, right? And I believe they're about 60 to 90 minutes long, and they'll be going over the entire SAT streams. Also, yeah, we have a whole live IG live session that we did with the founder and CEO, Lisa Wang. She basically went through everything you need to know about SATs and even college admissions. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Just keep dropping your questions in the Q&A box. But I do want to, I know some people wanted to come through for some talk about college, right? Why are we even taking APs? Why are you doing all of this? It's to get into college or for future opportunities. So I do want to give Samantha and Karen some time to just introduce themselves and talk about their experience with college. So we'll, if you want to stay for the rest of the stream, you can. If you can't stay, that's fine. The session is recorded, but you might hear some cool and fun stuff from Samantha and Karen about college. So Karen, if you just want to introduce yourself and kind of talk about your just quickly about your high school experience and how that has affected your college experience.
For sure. So hi everyone, my name is Karen. I am a rising sophomore in college, not high school. For those of you who may be wondering, I go to UC Berkeley, and I'm an intended public health major. Yes, I am going into 14th grade, haha, so funny. So a little bit about my high school experience. Hold on, let me turn off my fan super fast because I think it's really okay, there we go. So a little bit about my high school experience. I took a lot of APs in high school, definitely, but I didn't really go crazy with them until like senior year. Senior year, I took 5 AP exams, which is kind of a lot, but I somehow managed to do it. But I would really say, like, especially for me as like a public health major, I have to take a lot of biology, chemistry, social science classes, and I took AP Bio, AP Chem, and AP Psych in high school, and those have definitely helped with me succeeding in the classes in college now, especially at Berkeley, since it's such a big school. You don't really get the support that you need, which is kind of bad to say, but it is really big, so it's hard to like find the resources that you need. So definitely having that background from AP Bio and like honestly all the classes I took in high school is really helpful. As for like study techniques, I know some of you may be curious about that. It's definitely a lot of trial and error. I've had to try a lot of things, but I found a system that works for me. So I love using Google Calendars and Notion. Those are the systems that really work for me, but I would recommend, especially when you're in high school, just like trying it for yourself, because when you get to college, like everything is just like bam, 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 bam. And if you're like testing things out, you might not have enough time to like succeed and see whether your organization system really works or not. And then finally, I wanted to touch on, like my college admissions process. A lot of you may be curious about that. Yeah, for sure.
Real quick, your mic is a little bit staticky.
Okay, let me, how about Samantha can go first a little bit, and then I'll try to see what's wrong with my mic.
Thanks so much. Sorry to interrupt you, but I didn't want to.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
I want people to hear what you're saying, because I know you have a lot of good advice and insight, so.
Also, try turning off your video because that'll reduce your Wi-Fi bandwidth so you can have better audio.
Okay, while Karen's figuring that out, hi, my name is Samantha. I'm a freshman in college. So I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. I'm currently in the great Decorah, Iowa. I am in person in my dorm room. Look at that. AP classes, I really never thought they would work out so well for me. They really did help get a lot of gen eds out of the way. I am a music major, so there's a lot of things that I don't really have to take. For example, I don't have to take a science. Like, I somehow fulfilled all my science requirements, and that's super, super helpful because now I can take a bunch of credits for a semester that are actually going to go towards my majors. And so, yeah, APs were great in that regard. I would say, though, don't take useless APs. Like, if you kind of know where you want to go and what you want to do, don't take APs for the heck of it. Like, there's really, like, no reason I should have taken, like, a push. I'm just going to say it. And if anything, it gave me just like credits, not towards anything, just credits, which really doesn't even help for any reason. So I know that's easier said than done because you're interested in these things, or maybe they might work towards your major at this school, but just kind of think about that too. You know, when we talk about, think about your mental health, maybe you don't have to take that 4th AP class. Maybe you just want to say you are taking 4 AP classes, right? My college admissions process was really kind of easy just because I knew where I wanted to go. And I also had the added factor of college auditions being a music major, which is just very unique to my situation. But I think the best advice I can give all across the board is start early. Try to tour earlier, try to look into multiple factors of schools, location, campus itself, living situation, stuff like that. Because those things will vary greatly from school to school. And I think those things actually matter a lot and they're not talked about as much. That's really all I have to say unless anybody has specific questions. And hopefully Karen will be ready to talk about her college admissions process.
I don't know if Karen, if you want to try again, you can. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Okay,
Okay,
maybe, yes.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm just gonna do this like podcast style. But just to touch on like my college admissions process, I definitely agree with everything that Samantha said. But my college admissions process was pretty stressful, I have to say, because I applied to a lot of schools. But I definitely say like start early. If you think you want to go to a school, visit it first and then you'll know. That's all I have to say about that. And then it's totally okay, like when you're filling out your applications, like they're gonna ask you for your major and you're definitely like not gonna know. Like that's totally fine. Like if you do know, then like go for it. Like you're like more power to you. But I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to study. Like I think I applied to one school for like ecology and then I applied to another school like undeclared, and after doing a lot of research and really doing like looking into the classes at my university, I realized that like public health is the thing that I want to study. And then as for any other tips, I can't really remember anything else that I wanted to touch on, but yeah, if there are any questions, like I'd be happy to answer some of them.
I was also just going to say, going off of what Karen said, I mean, I have been at college for like 4 days and I have already changed my major. So like, it's fine to like think about what you might want to do, how you might want to get there, not really knowing. I mean, I'm excited for the track I'm going to take. It just wasn't what I thought I was going to be doing a year ago. And that's okay. You don't have to know. And it's okay to change. It's okay to change your sophomore year, et cetera, et cetera. Like you guys will figure it out. That should not be the most stressful part of college admissions.
Yeah, going off that, I thought I was going into college for bio pre-med. I went to an expensive private school, all that stuff. And then I hit, I think it was organic chemistry that like broke the camel's back, right? Once I took that class, it was the first class I ever failed in my entire academic career. And that whole year was just like messed up anyways. And, I think that was the first time I actually like failed academically. But after that, I just realized that it wasn't something that I was interested in. So I just wasn't putting the time to like aside to like study for it or prepare for it properly, or, even do the related extracurriculars for that. But once I changed my major my sophomore year after, wasting $40,000, it's an expensive mistake. So try not to make any mistakes. I mean, mistakes will happen, but if you're in college or if you decide to go to college, just make sure that you're putting in the time and effort, because I did not my first year. But my second year, I turned it around, but I also ended up changing my major because I was like, this is not it. Science and medicine is not it. I want to help people, but probably not in this way. And I realized it because I was trying to pursue like the toughest like field of like neurosurgery. So I was like, what am I doing here? I don't really want to do that. And it was like definitely like familial pressure, which I know a lot of you feel. But when I ended up changing my major, it's such a drastic change from like going from, bio pre-med to communications and digital media and marketing. So I ended up triple majoring just to kind of balance it out. But I ended up putting in the time and the work. I oversubscribed to my credits every semester for the rest of my time at school, which cost a little bit more, but it was a price I had to pay for messing up at the beginning. But those things will, the moral of the story is that mistakes will happen and you'll learn throughout college and you'll change your mind, and things will happen and you'll realize that you may or may not be interested in something as much as you thought you were. And the more you think about it, the earlier you might realize that. Sometimes people don't figure it out until after they leave college, all that stuff. When do you get to the point where you have to decide a major?
I can take this question because I actually also wanted to, there's another question in the chat, but yeah, just like Samantha said, usually after your sophomore year of college, but that really depends. I know Berkeley's really big on engineering, so you can apply and as a like fresh high school senior and get in to one of the most competitive engineering majors, and then you're set for the rest of college. Otherwise, you have to go through the process of applying and taking a bunch of prerequisite classes, and that's usually towards the end of your sophomore year. Some majors do let you declare your major the first semester of your junior year, but it really, really depends. And there's also a question about what APs I took to help me with my major. So like I said, AP Bio, AP Chem, AP Psych, those are the really big ones. Haha, I am on the pre-med track, woohoo. So I actually can't use AP credits for any of my pre-med prerequisites. So, but I did take AP Calc BC in high school, so that really helped me with a calculus series in college. And I would say taking English classes and stats as well is really helpful. I did not take stats, and I regret it now very much.
Yeah, I think I did take stats, and I'm just gonna say I really hate math. Any other advice from the panel? Like, where's everybody at in their college search? Like, is anybody on the panel thinking about college? Are you stressed out yet? Are you putting it off a little bit?
Always think. I feel like, especially now as like a junior, it's like, oh my gosh, you have to decide now. Like, you know, it's a crazy. I don't know. College admissions is a crazy process. So, yeah, it's definitely. Oh, I have to, you know, think about scholarships. Oh, I have to study for SAT, which I've been putting off for like the past week and a half. You know, all this thing. So it's just.
It's okay for putting it off because they keep getting canceled, right?
Oh yeah, well, Texas. Well, I live in Texas, so all of our SATs at least have been going for
okay, gotcha.
August 1. But you know, it's okay. I'll just study for the last minute. I'll do fine. I'll study for the last minute. So.
You haven't heard, we're doing SAT stream this week or next week, so or this week, next week, this week. Sorry, I had like a brain like eruption. But yeah, any other advice or tips?
I think I'm the youngest one I'm the panelist, so like for like my freshmen and sophomores, I think one thing that you shouldn't worry so much about college now, because like I'm a overthinker, so I would think so much that like it will hurt my mental health and everything, and it would like not let me do like my work. So try to focus on like the present and like what you're doing. Try not to overwork yourself, because as I said, it's going to do a lot of damage to your mental health. And another thing, especially because I come from like an immigrant family, one thing that like pushes off to you is like your parents might influence you to like do a certain career choice, push you to do certain classes. Try to do something that you enjoy, because as I mentioned before, my parents try to push me to do certain things that I have to say, oh no, I can't do this because I know I'm going to hate it. So try to like say no to some things that you know, oh, this is going to bore me. This is not going to be a fun class. So yeah.
Yep, and I'm a perfect example of that. Also, I love your picture of a bear carrying a stack of pizza bagel boxes. Pizza bagel boxes.
I also have to say that high school is literally for figuring out what you like, and just kind of keep that in mind when it's your time to experience to experience a lot of different things with very little consequences. I mean, you know, especially when you get into college, you know, all of the kind of like, you can still change your mind in college. It's just going to have a lot more of an effect than it will in high school. So just keep that in mind. High school is not meant to be the most difficult time in your life. You are supposed to have fun. So just keep that in mind when you're going through all of this.
In high school, you have pretty much free reign, but once you get to college, you can definitely explore. But also that's when you start thinking about the responsibility of your commitments to each other and to the organizations that you join and the classes that you're in, right? It's easy to get sidetracked by, you know, the fun part of college and, you know, losing focus on why you're even there. So make sure you find that like balance, because that's what I did not have my first year, and I just completely wasted a whole year of college. Take it from me. I love where I'm at today, because, you know, I only got here because of those mistakes, but yeah, right. It snaps. But yeah, college is a fun time for you to just, you know, you worked hard to get to college, so don't like don't do anything to kind of like jeopardize that, but also realize at the same time that, you know, you're gonna make mistakes and there's just no way around that. It's just about doing the best that you can, and rebounding if you ever trip or fall. So that's the important part, and that's going to be life beyond college, beyond all of this, beyond high school. So let's see.
One thing that I do want to also put, I know like Fiveable is very AP guided, but just remember you have a lot of options. You can always do dual credit if AP isn't your thing, and it's honestly, and dual credit can change from school to school. And I know the focus here is AP, but always think about your options. We live in the age of technology. We have so many opportunities. You just have to go out and look for them, and on all that. And also, I do want to say, put yourself out there. Be confident in who you are. And this is becoming very personal, but you know, just be confident in who you are and go for all those opportunities you have. I'm a very ambitious person. I'm sure a lot of all of y'all are too. And it's good to have those goals and make those goals and try and make them happen. You have there's so much opportunity in life, and take advantage of that.
Success. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, as a high school senior, I mean, it's sad to say, but I'm seeing a lot of like clarity from high school now. I think just these past 2 years, I was bogged down on APs and ECs and doing all this stuff in high school, whether I liked it or not. I think it's really important to kind of have that clear lens about what you're trying to get out of high school. And I think it's really important to also know that as soon as you get out of high school, you don't have to go straight into college. I think something that I've been thinking about a lot is about taking a gap year, or, you know, just deferring college for a year, just because the idea is, you know, trying to find yourself. I feel like a lot of times, you know, yes, we're trying to have fun in high school and try to get to know ourselves, but I feel like, you know, if you are ambitious or if you're trying to do a lot, you don't really find yourself, and you find this persona that you created and you realize like that, yeah, that's not me. So I highly recommend that. There's a lot of things that people will enforce on you, just like do this, gotta go to college. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to. So like, look at all your options, look at everything, and look at yourself first. I think it's really important to look at yourself before looking at others. And that is something that I wish I would have done 3 years ago, but just be yourself and just do whatever you want to do, because there's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations, but as long as you are doing it voluntarily and you know what you want to do, then who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really important point to stress, is like, take the time to figure out who you are as a person, because that might help you figure out what you want to do and what you want to study and all the things that come with that, right? There's nothing worse than getting a job because other people told you to, and it's like, and then you realize like it's not what you want to do at all, and at that point you won't have anybody to blame, you know, because you spent the time doing that. But you can avoid that just by, you know, showing yourself some love and figuring out, you know, like Ali said, take the time to figure that out. You might not figure it out by the time you have to apply to college, but at least you'll have already started that process.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Just have one last point.
Yeah, I want to elaborate on what you said. Is just, I mean, a lot of high school is kind of figuring out who you are, and there are a lot of insecurities out there, but really just remember your mental health and be very in tune with how you feel. And, you know, when you look in the mirror, you know, be proud of what you see. And I'll know I let my feelings about myself rule, you know, my high school experience, you know, the past couple of years for a really long time. And now I'm like, wow, you know, so much of my time was wasted on what others thought about me. And if, you know, and I think I just saw something in the chat, like comparing myself to others and feeling like my achievements weren't enough because I compared those to others. Be proud of what you did. You know, everyone is different. We all have different capabilities, and that's okay. And be proud of who you are. High school is full of insecurities and stuff, and it's, you know, just be confident, you know. So
yeah, I mean,
that's my piece.
Confidence building is definitely a work in progress. So if you're not there yet, just don't forget that, you know, it's relative and it takes time, and it's something that never really stops happening, right? You keep working at it. Like a lot of the things about yourself, you just keep working at it over the course of your life. and some people move faster than others, and some don't. So, but you don't have to feel bad because of that.
No, never, 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 ever. But be aware that I mean, I'm like all of these panelists, everyone that's watching this. I can like honestly say, I mean, I'm sure y'all are all great people, and I hope you guys know that too. So,
definitely everybody is. Any final? I know we went 20 minutes over time. Is there any other final thoughts that you want to give to our community before we before courses begin tomorrow? And it's our official kind of like kickoff to the school year. So you'll see a lot more resources being uploaded. You'll see a lot more interaction from our team, a lot more invitations and opportunities, and all the fun stuff that happens at Fiveable, and then also the not so fun stuff. Do all courses start tomorrow? The ones that were greenlit will be starting tomorrow, but it also depends on the schedule of the class or the class schedule. So let me pull the schedule back up for just a last hurrah. Let's see. These are just examples of communities. So this week, courses that start tomorrow are AP Psych, AP US History, and AP Biology. So if you are in any of those classes, make sure you're in your Slack channel. Here, let me pull up the checklist. This is why we created it. We'll, make sure you're in the Slack channel. You're already obviously enrolled in the course, and then you look at the course schedule. And then make sure you're all set up for the exams. Take the exam too. Oh, oh my God. So I was not sharing any of that. Typical. Just to recap, make sure you do all these things, but in terms of Fiveable, make sure you're enrolled in the course if you're taking one with us by tomorrow. Join the Slack community. Again, if you haven't been added yet, we'll take care of that tonight in the morning. And then introduce yourself once you get into the Slack, and then review the course schedule or the class schedule. So again, Tuesday is Psych, US, and Bio. So if you're in any of those classes, just make sure you test out your interface and all that stuff, because there's a good chance we might get a lot of messages tomorrow, and that might delay some support time. But we have an awesome support team, so I don't even know if that will even matter. Then we have AP Calc on Wednesday, along with Physics 1 and Chemistry. On Thursday, AP Lang, AP World History. On Friday, since it's the first week of courses, we'll most likely just do a recap, what went well, what didn't, what could be improved for the next week, right? Then we'll just go from there. And then the next week, you'll fall into your regular schedules again. And then obviously there's holidays throughout the semester, so we'll just let you guys know when the schedule will change. But this is the regular schedule, and it'll be identified up here. Week 1 is on a holiday schedule. This is a regular week. So yeah. Chat. Let's see. Thanks for sharing the course calendar. What is happening at these times? Yeah. So these are the times that the weekly live streams will happen. The teacher for each course will be teaching you things like the foundational skills for everything that you'll need to do throughout the week, right? Sometimes that will be modified depending on what people want and need. So if everybody in your class is like, okay, we really don't understand this, then you can just tell the teacher, and then they'll kind of reprogram the streams as you see fit. And like everything that we do, like it's all live support and all live. So things can always change, right? Things will always be improved or changed around only when it makes sense, and only when it will benefit all the students will things change. So in situations, like I said, where if everybody doesn't really know a topic, like those kinds of situations, or if the time doesn't work, it ends up being really inconvenient, then you can always, the teachers are pretty flexible, but that would require a lot more effort. But yeah. This is, I don't know how many streams we did this weekend. Like I'm exhausted. This reminds me of like cram finale week. But yeah, That's pretty much it for the last day of orientation. We gave you a quick run through of everything. Thank you, Sam, Stanley, Madeline, Megna, Matt, Harrison, Allie, Karen, and Tunu for dropping by and being on the panel. Thank you to all the students who showed up and stayed 30 minutes late. All of this will be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel, and I'll send out an email with all the links to the previous replays sometime this week. I know I've been emailing all of you like every single day, and I know you don't want to hear from me, but I had to get you here somehow. But yeah, thank you again. That's pretty much it. Thanks, guys. You're welcome, Rivka. We're super happy that you feel more comfortable. So this is the YouTube channel. Here, I'll drop the link for the orientation specifically. This is the orientation playlist. It's basically just me and turtlenecks throughout the entire weekend, so enjoy. So yeah, that's the link for the orientation weekend playlist. I think I uploaded the other 2 videos tonight, but okay, yeah. The other ones will be uploaded, so thanks everyone. Thanks, Jada. Bye.